Yeah, people of South Africa today, I would like to say the human nature delays our progress in life. Like, for instance, let me just say, people would prefer to learn through their own personal experience rather than to learn from other people's experience. And that stickers and what and delays procrastinate our progress, in life to propel forward, to accelerate, to move forward, to go ahead. It little bit delays us. I think it's in human nature. I don't know how can I put this, how can I best explain this thing, but it's in human nature, and I've seen this for several times now. That it's not like people prefer their success to be delayed, to be procrastinated, but the manner in which they could little bit learn better and learn quicker. It's when they went through some rough patch, when they facing some tremendous setbacks, when they live life in jungle, when it doesn't make sense on their logic, when they are going through some hardships, that's when they learn the most. Pain is a good teacher, pain of regress and stagnance of what you've anticipated and what you endeavor to have. It's the greatest teacher of all times. When you're fed up with something, when you no longer tolerating something, that's when you can learn faster than ever. That the frequency in which you could learn, you know, the speed, the velocity, it's like mind-boggling. I'm telling you. But it's in our human nature that we prefer to learn from our own personal experience rather than to learn from other people's mistakes. That is the greatest way of delaying our progress in life. I must put it that way, and there's this delusion, of thinking people are like searching for easy way out. You could hear people saying, just tell me one thing that can move me from point A to point B. I can literally tell you one thing. Probably you're just aware of those things, but at the very same time, I used to ponder about this thing. Even if you could go to these motivational seminars hosted by people like John Assaraf, Tony Robbins, Jim Quick. There are plenty of these people that teaches about the brain, the behavioral pattern, epinephrine, and all of these things, teaching about the mind, the functioning of the mind, the brain, and all of the power of the brain and everything. It's fine. They can equip your mind. It's not like we a little bit went astray or we're a little bit lost, in terms of how we tackle these things. But I don't know. People just prefer, to learn through their own personal experience. That is why we can fight with our child, our kids back and forth, trying to tell them, because obviously the adult one have got more experience than is compared to the younger ones who are still coming to the party, elevating this ladder of being teenagers, adolescent stage, teenagers, blah blah blah, and so forth. It seems like if you can tell a teenager that you don't do this, you don't do this. This is what's going to happen if you do 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Even how harmful that might be, but these particular teenagers, the young one, would grossly prefer, to experience that, to encounter that rather than to learn from other people's experience. This thing, it's a little bit hold us back, guys. I must put it that way, and I won't beat around the bush. I'm going to tell you this quite frankly, in a nutshell, without fear of prejudice. I'm just going to be blunt with you. Don't take it debate. Don't take the bait. That's how people are. Whether you like it or not. I don't know why people prefer that thing. I think I should think deeper and try to assess, evaluate the real cause of that thing, because it delays us. People want to be successful faster than ever, but they kept on preferring to learn from their personal experience rather than to learn from other people's experience. Because let me put it this way, let me say this to you, that wherever you want to be, wherever you want to go, someone else who long lived before you have walked that path, and faced all these challenges, obstacles, tragedies along the way in accomplishing or in reaching that destiny that you anticipated to reach. There are other people who long lived, walk the path that you want to walk, has been on that routine, but Why can't you just search for those particular individuals? Because you can try to, how can I put it? You can try to Google or to do your personal research about things that you want and the people who succeeded in those things, and try to mimic, to grasp and understand everything that they do, their characters, their attitude, their moral ethics, their behavioral pattern, and everything. And then so that you can see these accolades, you can see these resumes, you can see these traits that they have, and then try to develop those traits. But sometimes people can go the long walk, learning through their own personal experience. I don't know why nature builds people to think that way, because it delays us. It is very important in a larger degree, far by extension, to progress, to go ahead, to accelerate, to to ascend, to move forward. It is very important to go closer to your destiny before time. That is pretty awesome. That is the greatest success I've ever come across. If you reach your destiny before time, if maybe your dreams just surprise you, it's like I was still working on it, but now all of a sudden, in just a fraction of time, I'm just within the blink of an eye, I'm just there. So it's like a mind-boggling. I think people would be very happy to see that happening or encompassing in their lives. So I don't know, but we're living in the world whereby I think people don't want to learn through pain, but I'm saying to you, pain of regret and just pain caused by things that you've endeavored to have and it doesn't happen. I think you can learn a lot from that process. I think pain of regret is the greatest teacher, because when you regret, you get to dust yourself, try to pivot. You look things in both sides of the spectrum in a broader picture, where you see everything, you even foresee where you've went wrong and all of these things, and try to adjust there and there and pivot, where it needs to, and develop the necessary prowess, which is skill and ability that will take you from one level, from point A to point B, and all of these things. So now we're living in the society whereby they sell success. I think the biggest problem that we don't see is that people are just selling success, the good side of life. You could see on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and what's not, and so forth. People are like posting the happy life, like driving good cars. Someone is just buying a car at the restaurant, drinking like cappuccino coffees and drinking nice drinks. People like to present this good life, this happy life on social media, only to find there is the bad side of life that they encounter, that they experience, but they don't want to share that with us. And it is a problem because people learn from jeopardies, people learn from tumultuous situations, people learn from trouble, people learn from jeopardy, people learn from jungle when they're facing some tremendous setbacks. People learn in those particular instances rather than to learn when they are happy, when everything is good, when everything makes sense. So I think I would like to incentivize, I would like to encourage people who are like influencers on social media. Please try to share with us if maybe you went broke, like for instance, maybe you had maybe some couple of money and then you ended up like spending clumsy. When you have that regret and you still have that record that I did 1 and 2 and 3, which was totally wrong, because it didn't took me anywhere, but I did it at that time because I wanted to probably entertain myself and the people who are looking up to me, ended up like living a false life, or the life that is not convenient for you to live, to believe at that particular moment, but you chose to portray it because it's good to the people, it's encouraging people, while you're hiding the most important part of life, whereby it's like, I did all of these things, they were great, and I posted it on Instagram and everything, but now I'm resentful of those things because they put me in this particular situation that could have been avoided. It was not daunting to avoid those situations. It was not